tax. A business that is going to spend $37 million to help develop our downtown, and that will generate over $20 million in tax increment for the benefit of our village. You have maligned a stellar company that has done business for decades in our community. You have most likely led us into another lawsuit that could potentially cost us millions and millions of dollars. You, Mayor Vandenberg, and the entire CCT group, by the way, I have seen.
Time is complete. Thank you.
No.
Did you pull the live stream because it's not streaming?
I haven't touched a thing.
No.
And
No. I'm going to ask for a few minutes. Everyone else has been granted that.
Should have done that from the beginning.
Are you trying to suppress my First Amendment rights, Mayor Vandenberg?
The time is over.
No, sir, it is not. I've wondered the last few years why so many businesses
record
and
reflect that I've
developers have
asked
shied
two
away
times
from
for the
pursuing
member to
and
be
doing business
seated.
in Tinley Park. Now I know why. They fear retribution from you and your team. You are the reason Tinley Park has not seen the growth that towns like Orland Park and Frankfurt have. And now, after your latest antics and outrageous allegations, why would any business want to have anything to do with our town? But one last point. I want to thank you, Mayor Vandenberg, and your entire CCTP team. For the first time since you have taken office, I have seen true transparency from you and your team. You have shown us who you truly are. Unfortunately for you, Mayor Vandenberg, and your team, that very transparency shows the residents of Tinley Park your complete lack of integrity, ethics, honest, and morals. But at least it's a start. Not a good one, but a start nonetheless.
Okay, we've extended your time. That is the third time I've asked you to be seated.
We finally get to see the real you and the exact depths of your depravity. And your team.
Ms. O'Connor, I do not want to ask the police officer to remove you. I asked you politely 3 times that your time is complete. Be respectful. Please sit down.
Be respectful.
Everyone else is following the same rules. This is the same rules and procedure we've followed
When are
since
you going to
2017.
show respect for the residents of this town?
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too.
There's no other comments. We'll proceed on to item 8.
First off, what I want to do is I want to thank I came here tonight, and I want to thank all the people that, when we were out petitioning, that signed my petition, and they did it the right way. I'm very appreciative of that. I didn't come here to really play political games like one Tinley likes to do all the time, but I want to give a shout out to Brian Yonker. Brian, what happened to you wasn't fair, just like it was. Everybody makes mistakes. I don't know one person in this room who hasn't, but some people tend to think that they're above and beyond everything. So, looking at it all, I actually got a couple quick questions right here. One Tinley, or should I say, one of the trustees sitting up on that
Mr.
panel.
Swick, again, we're not doing politics here
Ain't
tonight.
that open meetings violation?
No.
How's it not?
My attorney has instructed me it's not. We're here to talk village business.
That is, okay.
If you could please keep your comments regarding village business, I'd appreciate it.
Well, I just wanted to tell everybody in the town that did vote for me or did sign my petition how much I was appreciative. One Tinley wants to talk transparency. Well, transparency is not sitting there and objecting to 3 independent candidates when we all were out walking door to door. Me personally, I walked to over 500 doors, rain, snow, you name it. Day or night, it didn't matter. I hope, Jeff and Brian make it 100%.
Okay.
Vote for them and one of concerned citizens, one Tinley. You guys are so nice. You guys are a joke.
Thank you. Thank you.
Joe, last. Look in the mirror.
Well, let's change the subject for a little bit. I just want to take this opportunity to commend Public Works for the job they've done this winter. Just a couple weeks ago, I happened to notice fire trucks going over to the condos over in Brookside while I was walking my dogs at 4 o'clock in the morning. So, didn't pay any attention to it. So then I was I was driving to work, I happened to go down Richardson, and I see a fire hydrant gushing. So I put 2 and 2 together when I called the police department non-emergency number. They were having problems all night with the condos because obviously there was some sort of malfunction with the sprinkler system. So within a half hour after I called Public Works, they had somebody out there taking a look at it, and by mid-morning they had it taken care of. And anytime I have a problem with anything with, since I'm the vice president of the Townhouse Association, I don't have, we don't really get to do much with the village, but anytime we do have a problem on the streets, I email Kevin up or John, and they always get back to me, usually within minutes, and it's usually taken care of. So I just want to commend Public Works for the job they've done this winter and taking care of all the problems, considering the, the nastiness of the weather we've had this year. Thank you, Kevin and John.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. There's no other comments. Move on to number 8. This time I'd ask for a motion to consider approval of the following consent agenda items. Is such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Item A, consider adopting resolution number 2019-R-009 in support of the Metro Resolution supporting a State of Illinois capital bill. Item B, consider request from Good Shepherd Manor to conduct a raffle from March 6, 2019 through April 28, 2019, with the winner being drawn on April 28, 2019 at the Odyssey Country Club, 19110 Ridgeland Avenue in Tinley Park, Illinois. Item C, consider request from the Tinley Park Bulldogs to conduct a tag day on Saturday, May 18, 2019 at certain intersections in the village of Tinley Park. Item D, consider request from American Legion Riders, Post 615, to conduct a raffle on May 4, 2019, with the winner being drawn that day at the American Legion, Post 615-17423-67 Court. Item E, consider request from American Legion Riders, Post 615, to conduct a raffle on April 7, 2019, with the winner being drawn that day at the American Legion, Post 615-17423-67 Court. And lastly, item F, payment of outstanding bills in the amount of $1,389,727.66 as listed on the Vendor Board Approval Reports dated February 22, 2019 and March 1, 2019.
Thank you. Any board member care to remove any of these items? Let the record reflect there's none. Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9, Trustee Glatz.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2019-0-010, granting a special use permit for a substantial deviation from the Brementown Mall planned unit development to allow for exterior storage of vehicles and buses in front at the properties located at 6800 to 6820 Centennial Drive.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Thank you. The petitioner, CTF Illinois, is seeking a substantial deviation from the Brementown Mall PUD to permit open storage of vehicles and buses in the front yard at the office center at 6800 to 6820 Centennial Drive. CTF Illinois is a not-for-profit organization that helps to assist people with developmental disabilities and their families. CTF Illinois currently operates at 6775 Prospery Drive in Tinley and will be relocating some of its programs to this new location. The organization's use is permitted as a vocational education facility. However, to assist in its mission, they often use vans and small buses, 12 to 15 person, to transport its students that are kept on site. The Plan Commission held a public hearing on February 21st, 2019, and voted 5-0 to unanimously recommend approval of the special use to permit an exception to the open storage requirements, prohibiting open storage in a B2 district in the front yard with one condition in accordance with plans as reflected in the listed reviewed plans and finding of the fact in the February 21st, 2019 staff report.
Thank you. This is up for adoption. Any comments from the board regarding this?
Yeah, Plan Chairman, Mr. Shaw is here. Is there anything you'd like to add for this? No. Okay, thanks.
Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 10, Trustee Glatz.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 2019-0-011, granting a Derek Tucker of Anytime Fitness a special use permit for a commercial indoor recreation use greater than 3,500 square feet in floor space at 17823 80th Avenue.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. The petitioner, Derek Tucker of Anytime Fitness, is seeking a special use permit to allow a fitness center at 17823 80th Avenue in the B1 zoning district. Anytime Fitness is a chain of fitness clubs that focus on availability to its members 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. There is currently 4,200 worldwide locations, including in Orland Park, Oak Forest, and Frankfurt. Anytime Fitness would occupy the approximately 6,000 square foot former San Fratello's Pizza, which closed in 2015, in a shopping center struggling with many vacancies. The Plan Commission held a public hearing on February 21st, 2019, and voted 5-0 to unanimously recommend the special use in accordance with the plans as reflected in the listed reviewed plans and findings of the fact in the February 21st, 2019 staff report. This ordinance is eligible for adoption.
Any comments or questions from the board regarding the item?
Again, I ask Chairman Shaw if you'd like to add anything to this?
I would just say that I think this activates the space very well in the
Thank you.
Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Abstain.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Motion carries, one abstention. Thank you. Item 11, Trustee Yonker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to board to consider adopting Resolution 2019-R-010, approving a contract with Austin Tyler Construction for the North Street Improvement Project.
Is there a second?
Second.
Bids were opened February 21st for the improvement of North Street from Oak Park Avenue to 173rd Street. The work will consist of installing a master underground utilities for both the Harmony Plaza site and the properties identified in a legacy plan for redevelopment west of Oak Park Avenue. The work will also include installation of permeable pavers and decorative crosswalks to complement the planned Harmony Plaza, conduits for burying the Commonwealth Edison lines, a new water main, a parallel parking in front of Tian's. This first phase of work will be required for the proposed Harmony Plaza. Bids were listed as follows, if the clerk could add those to the record. Bids were reviewed by Robinson Engineering and found to be incorrect and in order. Consider authorizing the award of North Street improvement to Austin Tyler Construction, Incorporated, in the amount not to exceed $1,182,687. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? There are none. Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 12.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion the board to consider adopting Resolution 2019-R-011, approving a intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Tinley Park and the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago for permeable pavement for the North Street Improvement Project.
Is there a second?
Second.
Robinson Engineering was successful in securing a green infrastructure grant for permeable pavement proposed for North Street improvement. The MWRD awarded the grant funding in the amount of $200,000 and represents the full amount of the cost of the pavement and the maximum amount of the grant. The total project cost includes master improvement for the public plaza and other properties. The grant requires at least a 50% match, and that cost is covered through the related underground utility improvements approved in the prior agenda item. The intergovernmental agreement outlines the responsibilities of the parties for the funding. North Street Improvement Project has been reviewed and approved by MWRD. Consider authorizing the village president to sign intergovernmental agreement on behalf of the village to access the green infrastructure funding in the amount of $200,000. This resolution is eligible for adoption this evening.
Thank you. Any comments or questions regarding the IGA? There are none. Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Berg.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Glatz.
Yes.
Trustee Curran.
Yes.
Motion will carry. Thank you. Item 13, Trustee Berg.
I'd like to make a motion, consider adopting resolution number 2019-R-012, approving an economic incentive agreement between the Village of Tinley Park and Cousins Entertainment, LLC.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you. This resolution approves an Oak Park Avenue playbook grant code compliance for Cousins Entertainment, LLC. Planned improvements for 17704, 17708 Oak Park Avenue will include renovation of the current space and the adjacent unit to create additional dining room seating. The renovation will also add 2 American with Disabilities Act compliant bathrooms. The total matching grant will not exceed $15,000. The Economic Development and Marketing Committee and the Economic and Commercial Commission have discussed and recommended approval of the proposed grant. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? Is there a representative from Cousins here? I don't believe so. Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Glatz?
Yes.
Trustee Curran?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 14, Trustee Berg.
I'd like to make a motion to consider adopting resolution number 2019-R-013, approving an economic incentive agreement between the Village of Tinley Park and Dr. Peter March, downtown Tinley Dental.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
This resolution approves an Oak Park Playbook sign grant for Dr. Peter March. Planned improvements for 17859 Oak Park Avenue will include the installation of a 12-inch high cast aluminum letter for downtown Tinley Dental on the west wall facing Oak Park Avenue. The Economic Development and Marketing Committee and the Economic and Commercial Commission have discussed and recommended approval of the proposed grant. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Berg?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Glatz?
Yes.
Trustee Curran?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 15, receive comments from the board.
I'd have one comment. Just on the item of public safety, somebody mentioned earlier how with the police staffing, we had 51, we'll be back at 51. That's because of retirements, and it's hard to plan retirements and people leaving. However, this is what I want everybody to understand. It's a high bar to be a Tinley Park police officer. You just can't walk into that job from any place. You have to go through civil service, you have to do testings, you have background checks. The men and women that actually get sworn in as Tinley Park police officers are there for 20, 30 years. It's not a quick, easy fix. It takes time. The positions have been authorized and will be filled, but they have to be filled according to the process to make sure we get the right men and women there, because they're going to be there a long time. That's what I wanted to say on that.
Thank you, Trustee Panino. Any other board member care to comment this evening?
I just wanted to make sure everybody comes out Sunday to the St. Patrick's Day Parade
You can have your hat
and be dressed appropriately for it.
and your hat.
Yes, and bring a hat.
Yeah, I do. The, last week, Jake, you mentioned, well, actually, you speak parliamentary procedure, you didn't follow that. You spoke without getting approval from the board, and you made it political, but at the beginning of that meeting, I was at a wake at Maher Funeral Home, and I gotta say, they did a fantastic job transferring that over from a library. I can't believe how nice it is. That was for the Tinley Wish recipient. The other thing is, during the month of January, that's when I was coming in here and speaking to staff to ask the questions that I had in regards to the budget. Well, you were not here, so I did do my due diligence, unlike what you tried saying. And before you say something else, Kristen was late. She was still working, just so you know. She came after working all day. And then in regards to the BKD report, if it's not a big deal, then why not release it? Why don't you just release it? And if you read it, Mike, which I don't feel that you read it, because I really didn't have much to do with the BKD report. There was 20 staff members, so apparently or obviously you didn't read it, because you would be able to see who said what. And as far as emails, I think we need, Dave, you need to create a policy, maybe put it in admin and legal, Elected officials need to stop using their personal email addresses to do village business. Every chain we have, Trustee Panito's personal email is in there. There's no way for the clerk's office to track that. I don't know why that we keep doing that. There's been several emails requesting that to be stopped, and he keeps doing village business on it. We need to stick to the village business email, the village emails, so that if there's a FOIA, they can conduct it properly. We already had that in one of the lawsuits where the mayor was doing personal business with Steve Everhart. So we should state it a village email. That's it.
Anything else? Well, I'll close it by saying, in response to several of the comments that were made this evening, and as well as from a colleague on the board, several people in the room know what I do for a living. They know what my job entails. They know the quality of service that I provide. So when I state that I cannot make meetings or that I cannot attend for the following weeks or days, it's because of my work. But more importantly, you brought up that project at the Bremen Cash Store. And there was a specific reason I didn't take the meeting, Mr. Ridgway. And in fact, the board, no, sir, this is completely out of order. Sir, Mr. Ridgway, please sit down.
Or leave.
The bottom line is that project was discussed, and every one of these board members was aware of the process, and no one was in the position to want to enter an agreement with them. It was discussed multiple times. So we're making politics out of something that really isn't there.
So now you're releasing executive session minutes?
I didn't. There was nothing specific about what I said,
Sure
except for
is.
the fact that there was not a consensus.
Play
There
the
wasn't a
tape.
consensus.
Play the tape.
Wasn't a consensus. But again, me not being able to be in attendance at Village Hall during the month of January did not affect my position as mayor, and to take the threat as being a fraud, I don't take that very lightly, first of all. More importantly, I discussed with the village manager that there was an emergency or anything that needed my immediate attention. He has my numbers. He could contact me. He could come to my office. He knows where I'm at. My role as mayor did not stop just because I wasn't here attending a meeting. I want that to be perfectly clear.
I assume this live stream's running now?
I don't know about live stream, sir. I'm living in the stream. It's right here. With that, we'll move on to item 16. At this time, I'd ask for motion to adjourn into executive session to discuss the following: the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint. B, the setting of a price for sale or lease of property owned by the public body. Collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees. D, the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel shall be acquired. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Your
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're going to be in executive session. Thank you. Have a good night.